Well, is that one time again where we have to review Ring of Honor, MLW, NXT UK, 205 Live, New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong, but also got some interesting news updates that I've just learned this week. But all of that will be reviewed and discussed about on this episode of the Leader Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to the Leader Wrestle Zone, all things that it's pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, matches, wrestlers, and championships. I'm your host J-Rod here. So let's begin with Ring of Honor. Now, their show's mostly been broadcast on Fridays, but I don't have the Honor Club, but I do watch the WatchWrestling.la, and they posted a few days later. This took place on the 19th of March, and this was their final go home before the 19th anniversary. Now, they only had two matches in this particular one. We have Eli Izam, who is a newcomer who's been part of the Shinobi squad with Cheeseburger, who now is the famous CB, facing on former Ring of Honor champion Ray Horace, who was in fact a 1/3 of the six-man uh, trios champion. Actually, that's the one we. But it was a very good match. But at the same time, it was one of the biggest upsets ever. Now, I do believe that this guy, what's his name? Eli is one of the most up and coming rising stars. Now, he's not yet at the top, but he could be that guy that could get there as possible. So I say we pay attention to him, see how far is he going to go. I say he really impressed me. This match against Ray Horace was a biggest upset, and that's the way I see it. Now their main event, this one had la Facción Ingobernable, consistent of Bestia, Kenny King, Dragon Lee, and Rush taking on all members of the Foundation. We're talking about Jonathan Gresham, Jay Lethal, Red Titus, and Tracy Williams. So, this is a match about who will remain their dominance in this particular event. The Rush will face Jay Lethal at the 19th anniversary. Dragon Lee will be facing Tracy Williams for the ROH World Television title, but I also will be in a double match for the tag titles. But this match was so insane that you wouldn't miss it. Now, as you know, Los Ingobernables, or as we call them, LFI, they don't play by the rules. And that's exactly what they did. They actually won by doing the same old tricks as they always say. And they say they will not play by anybody's rules because they rule the entire Ring of Honor. Now, however, it appears there's not just two factions who are trying to reign supreme. Brody Lee just seems like he formed his own, and he introduced Tony Deppen, who Los Ingobernables the previous week assaulted when he after his match with Kenny King. But this time, their biggest surprise is who joined them, and that is what's his name? Big Daddy himself, Chris Dickinson, and Homicide. So it appears we got another faction. They stomped on members of Los Ingobernables and the Foundation. So basically now we're seeing who will reign supreme in Ring of Honor. So as you know, Brody King still has a grudge against Rush for losing the title and final battle, but this time it's payback time. It's time to play fire with fire. So I think that's pretty much it. Let's move on with MLW. All right, let's start with Major League Wrestling, the latest MLW fusion. It starts out with a message from, of course, Contra leader um, Joseph Samael. It appears that he will not forget the recent headaches they've been suffering in the hands of Injustice, but at the same time, their newest ally and friend, Calvin Tankman. So Joseph Samael puts out a warning against all three individuals. This is now becoming a war between Contra and Injustice, but we'll see how this goes. But it's also been revealed for Never Say Never. Calvin Tankman will face Jacob Fatu for the title. So the real question remains: will he be the guy to dethrone Jacob Fatu? We'll just gotta wait and see when that day happens. Now, the first match we have Gino Medina taking on Seshi. Now, since as you know, Gino Medina had a deal with Gringo Loco, and now he has to deal with Senshi. I have to say, Gino plays a very interesting heel. Nothing similar as MJF, but however, his real problem is the one person who felt that the whole he said she said story, talking about Richard Holiday. It's now been revealed that he wants to get his hands on the IWA Caribbean Heavyweight Championship that Richard Holiday has. Now this could be a very interesting match, but however, the match I wasn't too much hype, but I'll tell you anyway, Gino Medina won. So the real question is, when will this match between Holiday and Gino Medina will happen for the title? Well, I don't know when, but I'm kind of curious to see. Now, the main event was supposed to feature a chain rope match. Basically, the entire ropes will be replaced with chains. It was supposed to be a six man tag team match between Team Filthy, Tom Lawler, Guarini, and Kevin Koo taking on the Von Erichs and ACH. But however, we don't know if this is true or not. It turns out Tom Lawler injured himself, so you don't know for sure if this is fake. So it was later revealed he was unable to compete. What was the stake of the match? Well, they decided to continue on just a 2-on-2 course. Ku and Guarini as Violence is Forever taking on the Von Erichs. So that turns out that's what it came. Now, speaking of Never Say Never, we have Myra Reed sending a clear message to Davari. As you know, Davari has been the latest soldier to be recruited by Contra. It appears that Myron Reed will have a chance to get his hands on Davari at Never Say Never. This is going to be a very interesting thing. Both Injustice members will get a piece of members of Contra. And I'm excited to see this one plays out. Now we have the next match, Mil Muertes, along with Zelina De La Renta and the Stooge, who works for El Jefe of Azteca Underground. Basically, as you know, they stole the belt. He's not the champion. But, however, this match was against Gringo Loco. Gringo's high flying techniques were nowhere near match against Mil Muertes. He took him straight to hell. But, however, Hammerstone said he can have the title, but in reality, in the record books, Hammerstone is the true champion. So basically, he issued a challenge for the title. If he beats him, the title is his. But if he is, then he's going to just be declared a fool. But, however, Zelina De La Renta decided to accept the challenge. But, however, apparently she pissed off El Jefe. Now, we don't know who this guy is, but his little stooge said he wants to meet with her. Apparently, this match being set between both Hammerstone and Muy Muertes has built up a problem. Now, Zelina, you can act like you are all powerful, but however, in a way, you do not waste an investment from El Jefe. So I gotta see how this is gonna go. But we still don't know who is El Jefe of Azteca Underground. This is gonna be very interesting to watch. Now, the next thing we know, as you know, TJP was supposed to be in a match against Buku Dao. He got hurt, injured. Apparently, TJP has been fined $2,500 on this. Now we don't know what's the status of Buku Dao, or if we're going to see this match between those two. That is going to be another time to discuss about it. Now we have a member of one of the Sentai Death Squad named Zad taking on Calvin Techman, which was an easy match in my opinion. But however, this was a trap by Contra Unit to eliminate Calvin Techman before they get to Never. But however, Techman had backup. I'm talking about Injustice. They took out both um, the Gotch and Fatu, while Tankman took out the Vari. So this is now becoming a full-blown war between the two factions. Now, this was a first in MLW history. We're talking about a chain rope match. Now you can say, what in the world is a chain rope match? As you know, the ring ropes, they were replaced by chains. You can use them however you want. Use it to strangle someone, use it to have someone go through them, and it will hurt like hell. But of course, throughout the entire match, Lawler was there, trying to get in the head of the Von Erichs, but somehow the Von Erichs were able to evade, able to kick out every pinfall. But however, Lawler's mistake is tossing a brass knuckles, allowing them to win the match. But the real question is this over between the Von Erichs and Lawler? Well, we just gotta wait and see what's gonna happen. So, I think that's it right now with Major League Wrestling. I say let's move on with the two WWE events, NXT UK and 205 Live. Okay, so we're getting closer and closer to NXT Prelude, so let's go on with the latest NXT episode. It starts out with another segment of the Supernova sessions. As you know, Noam Dar will get another opportunity for a number one contendership for the Heritage Cup Championship, but this time he's facing against a man that he lost and a man he tried to humiliate. I'm talking about Tyler Bate. So he decided for a guest to bring out Tyler Bates' longtime friend and tag team partner. I'm talking about Trent Seven. Now, because of this, he's tried to get to his head, knowing that he lost to Cruiserweight. And of course, Shaw Samuels, who's very close friends with Noam Dar, he tells him he's going to be in his corner to ensure that he will receive full support to win the match. But however, Trent Sever countered that, saying that he's going to be there for Tyler Bate. So this is going to be an interesting thing to watch. Noam Dar will face Tyler Bate soon for the Heritage Cup champion, for the number one contender spot against Tyler Bate. So we'll see what happens then. Now, there was a match that was scheduled between Jake Stars and, of course, Joseph Connors. However, before the event, Sid Scala, the assistant general manager, informed Jenny that she and Piper were barred from being in ringside. Now, Jenny take that lightly, but however, Sid Scala told her this came from Johnny Saint. So basically, Jenny got the message. You see, she may not like what Sid Scala do, but when it comes to Johnny Saint, you cannot argue with the man. But however, it was a good match between both Jake Stars and Joseph Connors. Now, Joseph Connors thinks he's the much higher upper than any other wrestler. Jake Stars, he's down. He says it's 15 minutes or 8, which it did. But the one thing I did like is how Piper Nevins was able to encourage him. Hey, so what, you lost? But you did good. Let's just go back, see what you did wrong, work on some new techniques. I don't know. I have that distinct feeling that they might put those two as a couple in story wise. What I got the feeling? You know, I am a sucker for Spanish soap operas. I haven't watched them in years, but you guys know what I mean. But, but yeah. But anyway, as you know, recently, a couple weeks ago, we have now crowned brand new tag team champions. The NXT UK tag titles are now in the waist of Pretty Deadly and showing their new signa. But however, the real question is now remains, who will be challenging them? It was later revealed that Kenny Williams and Amir Jordan will be facing them soon. Those guys are preparing for their upcoming match. But however, there is another team that is now making a play in the horizons. This match was between Josh Morrell and Danny Jones taking on Primate and, of course, the newest member of the addition, T-Bone. As you know, T-Bone and Primate no longer wanted Wild Boar. He was expendable. He was out. But I have to say, this new alliance between both Eddie Dennis, Primate, and T-Bone is now becoming a very interesting heelish faction that are determined, hungry for gold. That is something we are wet to see. They could possibly get a chance of a future tag team title shots, but that's only a matter of when. But the way they decimated Morrell and Jones, it explains the whole thing. Now, we had a women's match between Aaliyah James and Isla Dawn. I have to say, Aaliyah James is a really interesting wrestler to follow, but Isla Dawn, I have to say, she is now improving a little bit of her character-wise, being the White Witch, which she won her match. But it did not end right there. While she was in the back doing whatever, Kaylee Ray, I don't know if she was looking for an opponent, but when she saw that she was dealing with the White Witch and the lights were going off, she's like, nope. So she kind of walked away like a scared little rabbit. I thought it was funny. Now, however, next thing we may be getting closer to the end of the humiliation of Nina Samuels being the helping hand of Zaya Brookside. This time she had to clean up the bathroom before she goes. Now, the main event is a no disqualification match between Sam Gradwell and Ilja Dragunov. Now, as you know, Ilja Dragunov has been losing his mind ever since he lost that title match against Walter, and Gradwell has been trying to prove that he's better than him, try to get to his head, even throughout the match trying to play that he's victim, that you don't need to do this. But he made one mistake. When you slap someone, Ilja Dragunov, back, that's when he loses it. He actually did. Dragunov went through hell once again, through the metal steel steps, the tables. His hand got hit by the bell. So basically, he went through a lot of pain. But however, did he prevail to defeat Sam Gradwell? The answer to that is yes. But the real question is, will Sam Gradwell finally shut the hell up or continue to antagonize him? We'll just wait and see what happens next week. Now let's move on with 205 Live. First match, we have a tag team match with the 205 Originals, Aya Davari and Tony Nese, taking on Bollywood Boys. Now, to be honest, I wasn't too pumped for this match whatsoever. It was a very good match. It was a good match, but it didn't give me the hype that I would have wanted. But I'll tell you anyway, the VAR the VAR Anise won the match. Now, 205 Live have been aware of the Cruiserweight title implications that will go straight to NXT Takeover Stand and Deliver. Both, both Jordan Devlin and Santos Escobar will put their titles up in the air in a ladder match, which was a suggestion by none other than the two-time Hall of Famer and, of course, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. Whew, I'm pumped for that one. Now, the main event for 205 Live is a singles competition between August Gray and Andrade Adonis. Now, these guys are two very impressive up-and-comers in the 205 Live brand. August Gray has proven how he's shown his dominance, how he may be a little fun in games, but he takes things seriously. And then, of course, Ashante Adonis, he is also the same way. Well, he took things seriously, but however, that match was amazing. These are two hungry newbies in 205 Live. But I was surprised how this ended. I did not expect August Gray to win. I thought it was a pretty good one. So I like it. It was a pretty good match. So I think that's it right now with the WWE stuff with 205 Live and NXT UK. So stay tuned for more. I'm still debating about WrestleMania, but I'll let you guys know if I'm going to watch it or not. So let's move on with New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong. Alright, so right now we'll continue on with NJPW Strong for Strong Style Evolved on the 26th of March. Now, in this particular, they're still continuing with the qualifying match for the New Japan Cup USA. But before that started, Team Filthy, who are in the back discussing, okay, we know Tom Lawler is in the New Japan Cup. JR Kratos, he's out. And of course, Standing Limelight, he talks too much. But however, Chris Dickinson does have a chance to win the match against Blake Christian. So that's going to be one of the qualifying match. But let's go with the first one. Clark Connors and TJP. I have to say this match was unbelievably good. You got to remember, Clark Connors, he's still a young lion on the verge of graduating, facing off against a veteran who's used to be a young lion, who knows the system better. I'm talking about TJP. Now, in every person's minds, when you hear TJP, a former young lion, you would think, oh, he's going to win because he has the more experience. Normally, that will be the compelling argument. But like I said, the match was great, but I did not expect how Clark Connors was able to push when TJP put him in a submission and managed to have him flat, his shoulders flat, to pick up the pinfall. TJP was very disappointed how he lost. He probably didn't see this one coming at all, but it did. Clark Connors is now in the New Japan Cup. I'm not sure if Red Narita is in it, but if he is, it's going to be an interesting thing. But I'm like, yeah, he is. But I'm excited for Clark Connors. Like I said, he's on the verge of graduating, but we'll see how that goes. Now, the next qualifying match, we have Chris Dickinson taking on Blake Christian. Now, keep in mind, Blake Christian is currently now signed with WWE. He's already reported at the Performance Center. This match was a very interesting one because you got Blake Christian, a fantastic high flyer, taking on a guy who specialized in catch wrestling. Don't forget, this guy was a member of Catchpoint, infamous faction down at Evolve. But I was surprised how Dickinson was able to pull this match up by applying a pile driver, by trying to put a leg submission onto Blake Christian. But that was a pretty good ending right there and allowing himself to be in it. So now it's been told 8 competitors are now in the New Japan Cup, and it starts next week. Now let's go to the main event, a tag team match. We got Team Filthy, consistent of Danny Limelight, Tom Lawler, along with JR Kratos, taking on former Young Lion Carl Fredericks, and of course, one half of the Impact World Tag Team Champions, David Finlay. I have to say, this was also an unbelievably good match. As you know, Team Filthy have been proving their dominance time and time again. But however, you see now that Carl Fredericks has been working on his own, trying to kick out. David Finlay decided to stay out of that, try to have him evolve into becoming a interesting wrestler. And I have to say, it was a pretty good sought out plan, but I did not expect that they were going to win the match like that. You know, basically, Finlay was being more of an instructor to Carl Fredericks to ensure he picks up a victory. I have to say, very smart plan. But however, Fredericks and Finlay won their match. So that's pretty much it with New Japan Strong. With New Japan Strong. Don't forget, next week we got the start of the New Japan Cup USA tournament. But for now, let's move on to news updates. Right, so here's some of the news updates I just found out. As you know, not too long ago, Zelina Vega, or as we know her as Thea Trinidad, was released fired from WWE due to the fact that she violated the agreement because of her third-party platforms that she's been using. It appears that now she signs a new deal, and a short-term deal with a promotion that will not allow her to work with AEW. Now, it's still unclear who is the promotion. Now, if they're saying she's not allowed to work with AEW, I can think of several promotions that might want her. Besides AEW, there's, of course, Ring of Honor, because they're doing the women's thing. I'll explain that later. Um, we could have Impact Wrestling, because she does have some history there. Who knows? But it's still unclear who does she sign with the short-term deal. It's not a long-term, from what I managed to pull together from PW Unlimited. So that's pretty much it. Also, regarding to Zelina, her former business partner Andrade has also made headways. Apparently, Epico has revealed that um, Andrade was in fact frustrated at the fact that he was put in catering. This is something that we need to talk about. What the hell is he doing there? The guy is talented. He's 31 years old, for Christ's sakes. But he said he didn't care about the money. All he cared about is fulfilling his dream, being a wrestler. This is something that has been discussed. Now, I will put this on the podcast and maybe do a discussion about it. We'll see how that goes. But however, it appears that now it's been foretold that Andrade has now been talking to a promotion. Now, it's still unclear who it is. Did reveal by Dave Meltzer that he does not have the 90-day no compete clause. Now, that was very unusual that he didn't have that. But I don't think WWE cares. But however, we still don't know who it is. Who has he been talking to? But it was foretold he is allowed to use the name Andrade. He's not allowed to use Cien Almos anymore. So basically, that's what we know of. Now, I did mention about Ring of Honor earlier on their latest event, and of course, apparently the ROH Women's Title Tournament is back. Officially, was supposed to be going on last April in 2020, but due to the coronavirus, it kind of postponed or delayed or canceled, however it's being told. But now it's coming back in the summer. I'm excited to see. There will be more information on the upcoming Ring of Honor review with 19th anniversary, which was today, that was released on the 26th, but I'll do that the following day or so. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is the New Japan Pro Wrestling stuff. Apparently, it's already been foretold that on March 30th, there will be the unveilment of the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship title belt. Now, we still don't know what it's going to look like. We do know that Kota Ibushi said he wants to unify both. And of course, I'm excited to see how this is going to play. So I'm very curious. I would love to see the design. I'm curious. I want to see it. So stay tuned for that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Me talking about Ring of Honor, MLW, 205 Live, NXT UK, New Japan Strong, and of course some of the news updates I posted out. I'll see you guys in the next time in the next DWZ time, the same DWZ channel. So I must bid all of you adieu. So goodbye. And have a nice day. Bang!